Okay, I thought I would just sit down for 5 minutes and talk a little bit about FTL. So this is not going to be any kind of like strategy video or even like a what I learned video. This is just kind of me dumping my thoughts. So last night I finished my final hard mode run on Mantis C, which marks me beating every ship on hard mode, which is pretty cool. Um, Videos of probably half of those runs or so exist here on my channel, which is kind of neat. Um, there's a couple losses on here too, but mostly what I did was I just recorded the flagship fight, or sometimes I'd record the last stand sector and the flagship fight. Um, and the reason that I started recording the last stand was that, you know, I would get these ships all the way to the end, and I wanted to kind of make a record of what it was like to play that ship, right? Like whatever combination of equipment I had. Um, but I think when I look at these runs, the thing that I notice is like I usually have a pretty good weapon system, um, and just a pretty good ship in general. So I think like these last stand videos are, of minimal interest to maybe anyone but me. So I think what I'm going to start trying to do is actually record full runs. I do not play an entire run of FTL in one sitting almost ever, so I'll have to kind of compile them together. The other thing I want to do, of course, is there are a few wins which I did not record, so I want to try to knock off these, 7 ships. So I'll make recordings of these and kind of get those up there. So the other thing I want to talk about is I have been logging my runs, and it's interesting to note. So if I go down here, right here is where I first switched over to hard. Well, no, right here is where I first won hard. So I wanted to beat the Kestrel A first. It only took me 3 runs, which is not half bad. I started hard mode after completing all the ships on normal. So if I kind of scroll down through normal, you see, I wasn't very consistent. I have to imagine that if I went back to normal now, I would do a lot better. If I count these, now I don't think I logged every single run that I made, but I did try to be fairly disciplined about doing that. If I scroll through here, I counted 55, and there are 28 wins in there, because I've won each of the ships once now. So 28 out of 55 is like right on the dot for 50%, just barely over 50%. So I want to work on getting that win rate up a little bit, because I think it's interesting. Let's see, where are... Oh, these are just states, so that's fine. So one thing I just wanted to kind of do is scroll through here and look at like what killed my win rate the worst. So here's my first win. So took 3 attempts on Kestrel A. NGC I got on the first time. I didn't always play the same ship until I won. Looks like I got Zoltan A in 2 runs. Looks like I've actually beaten that twice. So actually there may be more than 28 wins in here. I didn't actually count. But let's just assume that my win rate is something like 50%. So, I mean, the thing that I eventually want to do is try to get a cycle. But at a 50% win rate, that's not going to happen. I think, I can't remember exactly the math, but, even at like a 90% win rate, your odds of getting a cycle are pretty low. You got to really kind of crank up into high win rate to have a real chance. So I'm not there yet, but I definitely have learned a lot over playing these 28 ships, and so yeah, I'm going to keep going. I do think I may try to find a way to switch this run log to somewhere where it can be more easily shared. I've just been using Notion. I see a lot of people do like Excel, or well, not Excel, but Google Sheets. Those look pretty cool. I've even thought about building like a little app for tracking it, but I don't know. So I think that's really all I have to say. This is this is really just for me to kind of gather my thoughts, because I think what I'm going to try to start doing now is figuring out how to get a little more consistent, and I think that's going to involve recording entire runs, and maybe kind of submitting those to the community and asking for like, hey, how could I have gotten past this or whatever. Not a ton of interesting stuff in these runs. I think, one thing that I definitely learned is don't fucking clone at a pulsar. And this is a lesson that has really stuck with me, so I've been careful. There are things like that where I'm going to start eliminating those kind of obvious mistakes and hopefully push that percentage up as I keep going. So what I may do is find a way to, kind of start the run tracking over and sort of see if my win rate has improved. Actually, yeah, let's do that. So let's just make like a new... we'll make a little divider. Yeah, so, long term, eventually I'd like to get a cycle. I think that'd be pretty cool. Let's look at one other thing. The one other thing I wanted to call out, mostly because I just thought this is kind of interesting. By far, the NGA gave me the most trouble, which would not at all have been what I expected. You kind of look at stuff, you'd think like, oh, like Stealth B or Slug B, those are going to be the real challenging ones. It looks like I had 3 Slug B runs and got a win on the third. Stealth B, I think I actually got Stealth B on the first try. Or no, see, I didn't. So on average, it looks like by the time I've played about 3. Oh, did I have a successful Mantis C? Oh no, that's normal. So there you go. Yeah. Yeah, Stealth B I got on the first try when I tried in hard mode. So anyway, I'll cut this off because I don't think this is really interesting to anyone but me. But I just wanted to, take a minute to kind of look back over those 50 runs and kind of think about what's next and what I want to do in the game. So, you'll see some more stuff on this channel from my own runs, hopefully full run videos that I can use as a kind of venue to get some feedback and advice, and maybe eventually a cycle.